Welcome to the Wisdom Path ones, and please listen up. Let me tell you something now. They have no idea who they are playing with. They believe they have you surrounded, but they're dealing with forces well beyond their comprehension. You aren't simply anybody. You're preferred, set apart, unstoppable. Every time they come at you, they dig their own grave, and they haven't seen it yet. They believe they can break you. Allow them to try. All they're doing is fueling the fire that flames inside you. You are supported by something much larger than they can ever grasp. Every action they take against you is like throwing stones at a mountain. It is meaningless. The cosmos is watching, and it notices how their hubris has blinded them to what is coming. And believe me, it's coming quickly. So, stand tall, because you're not just surviving. You are winning. You are designed for this. This is not the end. It's the beginning. Allow them to underestimate you. It will bring you triumph. That much sweeter. Now go and show them who you are. You're not just suffering. You're evolving. A formidable opponent they could never predict. While they plot in the shadows, unaware of the forces at work, their plans are already unraveling. What is swelling inside you is not a temporary rush. It's a relentless wave, an unstoppable force that will destroy every untruth, every false foundation. The havoc they unleashed will return to them not by coincidence, but by purpose. You are not an observer in this judgment. You are the catalyst, the uncompromising force sent to restore equilibrium. They whispered and conspired. They're nothing against the flood of truth crashing down on them. Justice does not waver, and neither do you. They underestimated the determination you developed through your hardships. Power is nurtured in quiet. Their demise is imminent, not by chance, but because of the unchanging rules that control light and darkness. Leave a comment. I stand by the ultimate truth. You're associated with forces. They cannot fathom forces that have predetermined the result before their plans even begun. This is not a pointless conflict, but rather a revelation of the everlasting rhythm in which virtue reigns supreme, consuming the false while reinforcing the good. What they lack is what distinguishes you, a purpose honed through difficulty and unwavering drive. Their delusions are collapsing, and this is not just guesswork. It is as definite as the morning that sweeps away the darkness. Every deception and treachery will be exposed in the light of unquestionable truth borne by people like you whose faith endures through storms. Since time immemorial, the conflict between lying and justice has played out, always culminating in the ultimate victory of light. This is your heritage, inscribed in the fabric of existence and transmitted down through generations of people who refuse to succumb to fear. You are the personification of that heritage, carrying the unwavering force of purpose and integrity. Their attempts to suppress the truth and alter the path of righteousness will fail. They fight forces that are older than time and carved into the world's essence. This isn't just about you. It is about the never-ending pursuit of justice that you have been selected to lead. Stand steady because the reckoning has started, and you are the herald. You are driven by a mission that is considerably larger than chance. The energies that support you are timeless, as constant as the beat of the cosmos itself. Your authority is not borrowed or flimsy. It is hardened by trials and tested by fire. This power is not in what you wield, but in who you are, a mirror of unwavering purpose. Opponents, visible or unseen, have before attempted to eliminate such power and have always failed. What you own is not ephemeral. It is timeless and shines brilliantly through all shadows. Throughout history, empires and rivals have crumbled. However, the light you bear is unshakable. It does not flicker. It does not falter. It increases, consuming every lie in its path. You go with an invisible legion beside you, a power that goes beyond the physical realm. These are spiritual guardians. Your forefathers' defenders and friends are ready. Their acts are exact, and their objective is unshakable. They are unwavering in their allegiance. Their objective is tied to your triumph. They work silently. However, their influence spreads across the pandemonium, directing you toward your goal, protecting you from damage, and intervening when the odds seem overwhelming. They are not passive observers, but active players who open avenues when none appear conceivable and hold steadfast. When the storms rage, your trip is aided by their unwavering vigilance and unbreakable link to a power that follows the dictates of truth and justice. Just like the waves bowed to the moon's pool, do these invisible comrades move in sync with your steps? What do you have to deal with? You do not confront this alone. The challenges, conflicts, and wins are shared. Their strength combines with yours to build an unbreakable road. This is not chance. It is the realization of a plan etched in the stars long before your time. You are not only selected to survive, but also to climb, propelled by a force much stronger than any earthly impediment. The guards that accompany you are confirmation that your movements are connected with a divine purpose, and they will not stop until your triumph is accomplished. Experience the power of being selected. If you feel a higher purpose inside yourself, you've come to the perfect spot. Click Join to have access to special information, support, and insights to help you alter your life and align with your divine purpose. Take action to fulfill your destiny. Join today to earn your spot among the selected. When the fight seems impossible, remember that you are a vessel of resilience, formed by the achievements of countless others. Their victories resonate throughout you, a quiet symphony of knowledge and courage. True power comes when your will and purpose align, resulting in a force that reshapes reality. This isn't a short-lived ember. It is an endless burning fueled by the limitless energy of creativity. Like an artisan who uses tools with precision, you have an intrinsic capacity to separate the genuine from the deceitful, breaking through illusions to reveal clarity. The weight of resistance becomes insignificant as the expanse of divine partnership pulls. Barriers dissolve. When driven by unwavering purpose, chaos subsides and the fabric of reality alters. Manifestation is not a faraway idea. It is the skill of constructing paths and destroying obstacles with unrelenting determination. Obstacles are not negotiated. They are eliminated with precise vigor. The energy that support your purpose act decisively, creating opportunities. They remain unwavering even when it seems impossible, and neither should you. To those who dispute your route, let the certainty of your advancement serve as evidence. This is more than just personal resolve. It is a symphony of greater alignment, asserting what is naturally yours with unwavering assurance. Even if darkness rush in from all sides, they cannot extinguish the brilliance inside you. The dark may threaten, claw, or murmur, but it pales in comparison to an unstoppable light. This is not an equal contest. The light of truth shines through, exposing the hollowness of those powers that feed on confusion and lies. Darkness is based on weak illusions supported by fear and disorder. However, it cannot withstand the presence of absolute clarity. Its power falls beneath the weight of justice and dissolves in the face of sincerity. History is replete with wins for order over disorder, when deceptive empires collapsed and honesty triumphed. That same unshakable power propels you ahead. This isn't a halt. It is an advance. With each stride grounded in light, the fundamental fabric of darkness unravels. Its tenacity is nothing more than the desperate flailing of something aware that its demise is already sown into its own being. The eradication of what is unfair is unavoidable. Darkness creates its own disaster. But every untruth is a crack in its brittle foundation. It makes many promises, but demands a price that is too high to tolerate its own failure. Those who manipulate and damage are battling not only against justice, but also against the unchanging truths that govern existence itself. Their frantic tactics always lead to failure. Undone by the very powers they want to wield, their goals get higher, so do the fractures that ensure their collapse. The disadvantage is not enforced, but intrinsic cruelty contains the seeds of its own destruction. Every selfish behavior adds to the trap they have created for themselves. Their insatiable desire for power blinds them to their oncoming demise, fueled by hubris that overlooks one basic fact. Destruction cannot support itself. It eats till there is nothing left, leaving nothing but quiet in its wake. When rebellion rises and plots are devised, the final downfall of such stupidity is already sewn into the fabric. Each malicious deed creates the pattern for its collapse. Every deception adds to its own doom. Striking against something holy is not a combat. It is an incantation of powers that dispel hubris. It's the shaking of a storm preparing to cleanse and rejuvenate. Righteousness does not rest. It is a relentless wave that sweeps away everything that dares to contradict its will. Those who fight this power are not opposing a person. They're dealing with facts that have formed existence itself. Hubris blinds them to the magnitude of the force they unleash. As ambition takes over, as individuals intoxicated by delusions of power attempt to claim the untouchable, their consent secures their shape. The factors that they consider as insignificant are everything, but they are the universe's natural rhythm, correcting and balancing with unwavering precision. Their ignorance hastens their downfall. Their efforts were thwarted by the same energy they assumed they could control. The power of justice does not wait. It moves like a flood, uncontrollable and all-encompassing. Every infraction increases the strength of its repercussions. And when the reckoning comes, it leaves no trace of what previously threatened to overwhelm it. Justice isn't a response. It is an everlasting energy that unites all things with what must be. When the unjustly are attacked, the guardians of equilibrium rise, carrying the weight of eternal purpose. This energy sees through all deception and treachery. No shelter can conceal those who deny the truth. Their defiant actions bring them not to freedom, but straight to the judgment they hoped to avoid. The inevitability of this reckoning is a basic rule that applies to every act of damage in the same way, impartially and absolutely. The echoes get louder, bringing justice closer like a magnet to steel. It is not a personal vengeance, but rather the restoration of order in areas where imbalance cannot bear the weight of their decisions, and the balances will tip back toward harmony, as they always have and will. Dear brothers and sisters, peace be with you. Recall this deep reality. Our lives are part of God's unchanging design. As the Bible says, give, and it will be handed to you. Luke 638. Like a gigantic oak, our trust is based on his strength. Today, you may participate in that blessing by clicking the super thank you button and contributing $100. Your faith-filled act will reward you abundantly. Consequences are not delayed. They gain strength as they come. They offer no opportunity for escape or denial. To contradict what is sown into the fabric of life is to invite one's own demise. Those who assume they can modify the unavoidable or defy the rhythm of global order are not confronting simple mortals. They are inciting forces beyond their control. Like an artist painting over a canvas without knowing its depth, their acts hasten their demise. Rather than halting the emerging plan, the will of truth remains unwavering. It is unwavering and does not give into opposition. Its presence is a force that demolishes resistance with unyielding weight. The framework of existence does not bend for anybody. Alignment with it is not optional. It is necessary to walk in. Truth is to become one. This unshakable flow represents the harmony that restores equilibrium. Prepare to take the first step toward greatness. Subscribe today and get started. True honesty isn't passive. It is a catalyst that dismantles falsehoods and rebuilds what has been broken. It is an energy that moves mountains, reshapes landscapes, and forces even the most stubborn impediments to give. Acting with integrity unleashes forces much stronger than ambition could ever hope to control. It points unwaveringly toward the right path, just as an impenetrable compass does, drawing power and favor in ways that are invisible but palpably felt. Integrity has no rivals. It cannot be managed, restrained, or outperformed. Its presence turns weakness into strength, opening up new paths where none before existed. Those who oppose it misunderstand its silent strength, learning too late that it cannot be defeated. Integrity does not just protect, it alters the basic structure of opposition, leaving no room for lies to flourish. Integrity is more than simply protection. It is a durable barrier that makes injury ineffective. When darkness appears, it finds no purchase or vulnerability to exploit. Every attempt to demolish it falls short, like arrows dissolving before they reach their target. This is not an abstract ideal. It is a force that deflects deception, mitigates injury, and guarantees that the truth prevails. It's not a barrier. It simply withstands assault. It deliberately disassembles the instruments of chaos and deception. The strength of alignment with what is fair is a force that both protects and strikes in equal measure. It is not a remnant of old knowledge, but rather a live monument to the power of truth in action. When accepted, it becomes an impenetrable fortress, assuring that no power of evil can overcome it. No weapon made against you will flourish, and you will condemn every mouth that rises against you in judgment. Isaiah 54:17 picture a lighthouse standing steady despite a violent storm. The waves crash, the winds wail. Nonetheless, the light remains constant. It slashes through the turmoil, leading the way. That's you. You are so light, stable, and unshaken. A symbol of resilience. The forces that rise against you may yell and thrash, but they cannot extinguish the divine spark that has been set inside you. Storms of misfortune do not define you. They purify you. They take what is frail and transform it into something impenetrable. Every assault on you is a mistake. Every strategy is a trap that will capture its creator. The force of malice crumbles beneath the weight of justice. And, like my companions, is more than simply a shield. It is a force that uproots, rips down, and rebuilds stronger than before. It is not limited to one time or person. It washes over the landscape, leaving waves of alteration that outlive any resistance. It does more than simply defend. It reshapes like water cutting through stone. Justice advances with quiet strength, leaving a trail of rebirth and purpose that connects hearts, communities, and generations. But allow me to tell you something much more amazing. When you choose justice, you enter into a heritage. Your activities don't end with you. They're like seeds sown in fruitful soil. One act of bravery, one commitment to speak the truth, sparks a movement much larger than yourself. It is not about being flawless. It is about being willing to trust, willing to stand and act. Think about it. A single spark may illuminate a whole forest. One modest light may bring millions out of the darkness. Your decisions have that power. When you behave with honesty, you're not just doing what's right. You are unlocking doors for others, creating avenues for individuals who believe there was no way ahead. This is how justice works. It develops. It's uplifting. It also inspires. Even history agrees with this reality. Look back and discover how a single act of justice altered the path of countries. It's always been a consistent, unwavering devotion to the truth. Turn the tide at the darkest of times. And that is who you are. You are more than simply a person suffering a storm. You're the one moving it. You are the one who demonstrates that darkness does not triumph. Falsehoods do not prevail, and every act of truth has the potential to rewrite the future. This is larger than you, bigger than any one individual. This is about being a part of something timeless, uncertain, and knowable. Don't simply watch. Take part in the transformation. Subscribe today. Let's make it happen. And never fear that your efforts are in vain. Oh no. Every action you take, every word you say that is in line with what is right affects the world's equilibrium. It shifts the balance toward light, kindness, and healing. You may not be able to see the whole picture right now, but believe me when I say that it is being written in ways that cannot be undone. What is done in truth endures eternally. It is inextricably linked to the fundamental fabric of existence. So keep moving, standing, and shining. Because the light inside you is not ordinary. It is divine. In nothing. No storm, no assault. It is impossible for the opponents to put it out. Those who sow dissension and deception do not throw their axe into the vacuum. They put in motion forces that will eventually return to them. Each evil act is a stone placed in a quiet water, and the ripples will locate their source. The damage caused serves as a catalyst for its undoing, since the repercussions of such actions eventually increase and return with greater power. What starts as an attempt to disturb others eventually absorbs the initiator. Because the energy of destruction cannot be maintained without collapsing, the rule of balance assures that every act has a consequence and that no intention, righteous or unjust, escapes this cycle. Justice is not based on revenge. It acts with exact predictability when plots crumble and deception is revealed. Those who behaved against righteousness will bear the consequences of their acts, unable to escape the realities they created. Their collapse is not an act of retribution, but rather the inevitable result of their actions. As balance rules everything, the equilibrium expects nothing less than complete repayment. What is sowed will be reaped, intensified, and unwavering. Energy flows like an infinite tide, returning to its source in the same form in which it was given forth. This is not a simple notion. It is a rule as ancient as time itself, carved into the fundamental fabric of itself. The weight of one's goals and deeds dictates the path of their return. As certain as the seasons continue their cycle, evil done does not vanish into emptiness. It sows a harvest that cannot be prevented. Those who act with malice or deception cause their own demise because the forces they release will. This unchanging principle assures that equilibrium is restored regardless of how much effort is expended to disrupt it. Attempts to disrupt this equilibrium will always fail. The foundations of dishonesty and evil will collapse under the weight of their own contradictions. The forces that maintain harmony are firm and unshakable, unable to be persuaded or corrupted. What is offered in harm will result in disaster, striking with accuracy that does not miss the target. However, forgiveness exists not as a sign of weakness, but as a powerful declaration of strength. To forgive is to break free from the bonds of resentment and rise above those who have inflicted damage. It is the greatest expression of self-mastery, keeping your energies untarnished by their deeds. Forgiveness is not the same as surrender. It represents emancipation, a reluctance to let their misdeeds shape your path. Choosing forgiveness does not absolve responsibility. The powers of justice function independently of human compassion, guaranteeing that those who act against truth and righteousness bear the repercussions of their actions. Letting go of animosity relieves the load on your heart, but it does not protect the offender from the inevitable correction of global order. Forgiveness clears the path ahead, allowing them to confront the unrelenting reaction of the equilibrium they attempted to disturb. Justice strikes impartially. There is no deed that escapes the scales. To forgive is to give up vengeance. However, it does not nullify judgment. Instead, it guarantees that the appropriate results occur without intervention. Restoring harmony is necessary. You are not entrusted with passing judgment. Release the weight and stand back, certain that the repercussions of their actions have already been put in motion. Justice moves like a river, untouched by diversions or efforts to obstruct its course. Those who collaborate against what is good do not hinder the path. They are creating the groundwork for their own demise. Their resistance merely hastens the inevitable, since the powers they face are beyond their understanding. Divine purpose moves with precision, changing barriers into instruments for victory. No strategy can change the result. No delay can prevent the arrival of what is intended. The challenges meant to weaken you are rather the flames that purify and prepare you. Justice never forgets or falters, even in the face of the most vehement resistance. The equilibrium is unshaken. The energy they waste to do damage merely comes back to them magnified. Trust the flow that transports everything to their proper spot. Knowing that revenge is pointless, the power operating in your favor is not rushed. It's intentional, unrelenting, and absolute. What was intended for you cannot be taken or destroyed. The fight is not limited to the visible world, but extends into unseen realms where forces of order and chaos struggle. These abilities act as guardians, protecting you from danger even when you are most vulnerable. Like a fortress, their protection converts the blows you take into the strength you need for the trip ahead. Every act of hostility aimed at you is absorbed and transformed. Opposition does not impede development, but rather serves as a source of resilience and purpose. It becomes the fuel for the forces that support your journey. There's no need to hurry or push results. The energy of justice, patient and unrelenting, guarantees that everything falls into place at the right moment. Those who seek to impede this process will find themselves up against an immovable force, their efforts dissipated like mist before daybreak. This unbroken cycle guarantees that the scales tip as they should, bringing everything into perfect harmony. No power can penetrate the barrier of brightness that protects you. The light inside is not temporary. It is an everlasting essence that becomes stronger with each struggle you face. Darkness may push against it, but it falters in the face of truth's unwavering light. This is not a narrative. It is the very core of your existence. Mountains can resist even the most ferocious storms. You are supported by a steadfast strength that no shadow can defeat. With each effort to weaken you, the power defending you grows, making all attacks ineffective. The vacuum may shout, but its clamor is ineffective against the indestructible light you carry. You are not alone, but are strengthened by an invisible force that ensures no difficulty can overcome you. The weight you carry is not arbitrary. It's yours because you're uniquely qualified to turn it into purpose. What seems to destroy you instead sharpens your resistance, transforming you into an indestructible force. Circumstances do not mold those who are connected with truth. They are triumphant architects, powered by powers beyond explanation. The conclusion is unavoidable for those who act in harmony with truth and purpose. Each decision based on honesty undermines the goals of those who oppose you. Their efforts to disintegrate, their schemes fail, and their power vanishes in the face of the steadfast energy that surrounds you. Protection is just half of the tale. Empowerment and elevation define your route. Ensure that your steps are directed by an uncertain, workable presence. Defeat is impossible for someone whose quest is based on sincerity and fairness. This is your opportunity to shine, not for recognition, but as a monument to the unwavering force of determination. Let your actions and words serve as a light, revealing others' capacity to discover their own resilience and purpose. You are living evidence that those who walk in the light will always prevail.